Dummy's Guide to Spirituality, guys. This video, guys, is going to be a dummy's guide to spirituality. What is spirituality? If you're from the Western world, Europe, America, you're going to think about you're probably going to be thinking about Indian culture, I guarantee. When anyone talks about spirituality, their brain jumps to Indian culture. Buddhism, Sikhism, Hinduism, meditation, yoga. That's what you're going to be thinking about. A dummy's guide to spirituality. I wrote it down somewhere. Spirituality. I'm just gonna give you like my own kind of like interpretation of this. But typically, you know, if you're from Europe, America, you're gonna be thinking about fucking Indian culture, aren't you? Buddhism, Sikhism, all that jazz, all that fucking shit. The meditation with the Buddha fucking sitting down with his legs crossed, meditation, basically Indian culture. In the Western world, if you're from Europe or America and I talk about, like, if I say spirituality, you're just gonna be thinking about fucking Indian culture. I guarantee you guys, 9 times out of 10. I bet, I'm saying spirituality now, I bet what's in your head is like the Buddha, or like yoga and meditation, all that comes from India. Basically, you're gonna be thinking about Indian culture. I know you are, guys. Anyway, let's get off from that. This video is gonna be a dummy's guide to spirituality. Now, what is spirituality? It's so fucking vague, isn't it? But man, I'm telling you, it's so important. It's such a vague concept, but it's such an important like fucking concept. Is spirituality a concept, or like it's sort of like a way of life? It's like a type of mode of being, a mental state as well. It's so important, guys, that you fucking consider spirituality, that you're not a fucking person that's all about materialism and getting lots of money and women and cars and all that jazz. That's very important as well, but you gotta also consider spirituality as well, guys, in your lives, in your day-to-day lives. We always fucking chase money and women and cars and all this bullshit, and we don't give any time for like spirituality, like for spiritual matters and etc. and stuff. But really, if you're from Europe and America, all you're gonna be thinking about when I say spirituality is basically Indian culture. You might be thinking about like the Abrahamic faiths. What else is there? When I say spirituality, you're gonna be thinking about Indian culture, Buddhism, Sikhism, Hinduism, meditation, yoga, which all comes from India. Or you're gonna be thinking about fucking the Abrahamic faiths, aren't you? Christianity, Islam, Judaism, which comes from the Middle East, or that type of territory there. Guys, you cannot be fucking stupid, guys. You need to consider a spiritual path. Spirituality, guys, is so fucking crucial. You don't want to be you don't want to like fucking die of like depression or something, guys. You need to consider commit suicide. You heard it, like a lot of people in Europe and America, and like other westernized nations that are like completely devoid of like any meaningful like spirituality. These types of nations, they become kind of very much sad and depressed, and you can see that going on in like a lot of the European countries and America as well. The depression, suicide, what the fuck is going on with that, guys? You see all these like rich people kill themselves, like fucking what was his name? Oh fucking hell, how could I forget? Robin Williams fucking offed himself, guys. Fucking scary as shit. Wasn't just him, there's other people like him as well. Plenty of rich people, they have everything, and then they just kill themselves anyway. That's cause they're missing something that's very crucial for the human being, which is a spirituality. This is gonna be a dummy's guide to spirituality now. What is spirituality? I would say that spirituality is trying to find peace outside the material, trying to find peace within yourself, basically trying to like, what a dummy's guide to spirituality. I'm even lost on this as well, but it's because it's like a very complicated topic, isn't it? But I'll fucking say that spirituality basically is that you don't look to the material world for your comfort and your pleasure and your fulfillment. You look inside of yourself and you look out beyond the material world. You look at some type of transcendental thing. Like, I don't know, like if you were like a Muslim, Christian, Jew, you would be looking at like trying to find fulfillment in God's scriptures, in the Quran and etc. in the Bible, perhaps. If you're like, to put it into my own words, spirituality basically, you don't look at the material world, you don't look at the fucking the world around you for fulfillment and happiness. You look beyond that. You look at yourself, the inside of yourself, your soul. You look into your soul, and you look beyond the material world for like meaning and purpose and fulfillment. Typically, guys, us human beings, when we're especially young, we look at the fucking material world, guys. We look at the fucking material world, and we chase all these like things that are like very material, and so we chase like fucking money, cars, women. We concern ourselves too much with this fucking material world, guys. Spirituality, to put it into my own words, guys, it's when you don't look at the material world, you look inside of yourself, you look at your own soul, and you try and look beyond this fucking materialistic world. You look beyond it, and you look at something that's more meaningful and greater, that's beyond our material existence. Some people, like, again, if you're a Christian or Muslim, Jew, whatever, or an Abrahamic person, you might be looking at you might be trying to find fulfillment in God's scripture, etc., and stuff, which is very admirable. Or you might be like a Buddhist or like a Hindu or a Sikh, and you're going to look at those types of, you're look at your own types of religious scriptures for your like fulfillment. That's why this is like much more better, because if you look at the material, because if you're going to be like, if you don't want to give a fuck about spirituality, if you just want to like be super materialistic, this material world that we have is going to fucking go away at some point. We're all going to fucking die. Everything we did is going to be erased. So what the fuck's the point? There really is no point if you're super materialistic. If all that you consider is the material world, then we might as well just all fucking off ourselves right now, because in a cajillion years we're just gonna be like fucking, everything we do is just gonna get erased. What's the point? That's why, materialism leads to suicide or depression or something very strongly negatively associated with the brain. That's why, guys, that's a dummy's guide to spirituality. That's the topic of this video, guys. To put it into my own words, spirituality, guys, is when we don't look at the material world for our fulfillment and happiness and meaning and etc. We look at our own souls. We look inside of ourselves, guys. We try and like become more detached from the materialistic world, and we look inside of our own consciousness and stuff, and we look beyond the layers, this type of like fucking the material world. We look beyond it, and we look into our own souls and stuff, and we try and find fulfillment in ourselves and things that are beyond this world, the material world, maybe perhaps God or something else similar to that God. Guys, a dummy's guide to spirituality, guys. Spirituality is so fucking crucial, guys. If you don't give two fucks about spirituality, if all you're concerned about is this fucking very temporary, fleeting material world, because everything you see around you right now, it's all gonna fucking go away. In 100 years, there's gonna be you're gonna be in the fucking grave, dead, man. All your accomplishments are going to be fucking erased. Everything you did is going to be forgotten. That's inevitably the sad reality, guys. That's why if you're super materialistic, guys, you're going to be in for a massive surprise, man. You're going to be so fucking depressed, sad. You're going to be quite upset by the end of your life, guys. A dummy's guide to spirituality, to put it into my own words, spirituality, guys, is when we look inside of ourselves. We look at our own souls, and we look at our consciousness, and we try and find fulfillment, meaning, and happiness beyond the material world, maybe perhaps like in God. So, for example, if you're a Christian, Muslim, Jew, Abrahamic person, you'll be looking at God for your fulfillment and happiness and contentment. God, which is like beyond this physical material world, something that's like quite everlasting in that sense, because he's not a part of this materialistic world, so he's not going to like turn old. He or she or it might not turn old and degenerate inevitably. Degenerate, is that a real word? Degenerate or deteriorate? Deteriorate, I'm being a fucking retard. But anyway, you guys, if you're gonna be materialistic, you're gonna be fucking sad, guys. The topic of this video, guys, is a dummy's guide to spirituality, guys. Basically, let me put it in a very frank way. What is spirituality? Obviously, you can look at the more professional definitions, but to put it into my own words, guys, spirituality is when as human beings, we look into our own souls, we look beyond the material world for our meaning and fulfillment and happiness. And guys, when we do that, we become so much more better off. We're much more content and fulfilled as human beings. Guys, the material world is gonna fucking make you super sad, man. If you're only gonna be caring about this fucking temporary, fleeting world around us, this temporary existence, you're gonna be fucking miserable and sad and depressed. A dummy's guide to spirituality. Typically, if you're from Europe and America, I say spirituality. You're just gonna be thinking about Buddhism, Hinduism, Sikhism, meditation, yoga, all that. You're gonna be thinking about Indian culture to basically all these things come from India. So you're gonna be thinking about fucking Indian culture, or I might say or you might be thinking about like Abrahamic faiths. Well, when I say spirituality, basically, if you're from Europe and America, spirituality basically is Indian culture, yoga, meditation, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism. That's basically what spirituality is. Basically, yeah, isn't that insane? If you're from Europe and America, I say spirituality, you're probably just going to be thinking about Indian culture, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. No, you are. You'll be saying, no. I have something else in my head. No, if you're a white guy from like Europe or America, I say spirituality, you're going to be thinking about fucking Indian culture. I know 9 times out of 10, I see all these like white guys into Buddhism. A little bit cringy, I don't know. Obviously, you can do whatever you want, though. It's your free will. But you're going to be thinking about fucking Indian culture. Of course you are. Buddhism, Sikhism, Hinduism. That's what you're gonna be fucking thinking about. Maybe maybe Islam, Christianity, Judaism, the Abrahamic faith. What else? What else? When I say spirituality, what else are you gonna be thinking about anyway? But a dummy's guide to spirituality, guys. To put it into my own words, spirituality is when we look, us human beings, we look into our own souls. We don't look at the material world for our meaning, happiness, fulfillment, etc. We try and look beyond the materialistic world. We look beyond it. We try and find meaning in something else that's far greater than this material world, like God, for example. And that's about it, guys.